Video analysis of blow-drying hair. The patient has an injury to their right shoulder with a torn rotator cuff. The areas of occupation are ADL, which is activities of daily living, including grooming. It can also be rest and sleep, including sleep preparation. Objects and properties. You will need an outlet, a blow dryer, and a brush and a mirror. Also, space demands calls for a well-lit, ventilated room with enough maneuvering in order to prevent from knocking over things. Client factors and performance skills.
Okay, so mobility required for this activity, you're going to need to be able to move your arm, wrist, and hand around, just on the left side. You also need to be able to move your head and neck as you're moving the hairdryer around your head. Fine motor coordination, you need hand-eye coordination, you need to be able to not hit yourself in the head with the hairdryer. You need to be able to grip the hairdryer in your hand without dropping it. You also need to be able to reach up and around your head as you're moving the hairdryer. Manipulating objects in your hands, so you need to be able to hold the brush, you need to be able to hold the hairdryer, and you need to be able to press the buttons, so you need some dexterity in your fingers. Lifting, you need to be able to lift the hairdryer in your hand with your arm. And stabilizing, you need to be able to interact with your environment without tripping over anything like the cord. You need to be able to stabilize yourself if you're standing and even if you're sitting. Strength required for the activity, you do need some upper body strength. Hair dryers can vary in weight, so you need to be able to lift it with your arm. You do need hand strength too. You need some balance. You need to be able to balance yourself upright if you can sit. You need strength in the hand, arm, and wrist. As well as flexibility. You need to be able to manipulate the hairdryer around your head. So energy required for this task. It's a fairly low energy task. There is some motivation behind it though. It was mentioned before, you don't want to go to bed with wet hair. For attention, you need to be able to pay enough attention to make sure that the hairdryer isn't going to hit you in the head, hit you in the face. You need to be able to pay enough attention to make sure that your hair is not burning. So if your scalp starts to burn, you take the hairdryer away.
Sequencing.
First, you're going to get all of your stuff out. You're going to get the hairdryer, the hairbrush. You're going to plug in the hairdryer into the outlet. And you might want to do this as your the dryer might be on like a table or on the floor, just so you don't drop it on your foot. You want to make sure it's in a safe place. The next step would be to brush your hair before you start. Makes it a little easier for the drying process. Then you're going to turn on the hairdryer to the proper setting. Once the dryer is on, you're going to move it around your head with your left arm as needed to dry. You're going to move the dryer around your head until your hair and scalp are dry. Make sure that you're not burning your hair or your scalp. When your hair is dry, you can turn off the hair dryer, unplug it, and put it in a safe place so that it's not going to burn anything. And when it's no longer hot, you can put it away wherever you do. This activity, you have to figure out how to manipulate the hair dryer around your head without using your right arm. You have to use just your left arm. You also have to be able to brush your hair either during this activity or before or after the activity. For memory, you need to be able to remember to plug in the hair dryer. You need to remember the settings that you want to dry your hair.
Communication and environmental interaction skills.
Working with blow drying your hair, so you're using that blow dryer. You have to use your left hand because our right arm is out of commission with that rotator cuff tear. So you're using the mirror to see as a visual cue to see which section is still wet, which section still needs to be dried. From an auditory perspective, we're waiting to hear that sound of the blow dryer coming on and that whoosh of air. From a social perspective, it was already mentioned, you don't want your friends seeing you with wet hair. So far as grading and adapting the activity, like I said, we're blow drying with the left hand, so we're only using one hand while we blow dry, and we can use a high power blow dryer to speed up the process to be able to move the hair around, since we can't hold the brush or comb at the same time as the blow dryer. Before it was shown, you can be seated, and then you can also move your hair by flipping it overhead, so that way you're getting the underside and on top at the same time. So far as adapting, we can use a light weighted blow dryer, and that helps with, you don't need as much strength in that left arm to be able to move it around. And then manipulating the blow dryer, moving that wrist from side to side, that just helps you get down to the scalp as you blow dry, so it moves the hair around. Lastly, using an assistive device such as mounting the blow dryer on the wall, or actually having a device that just holds it there for you so you can use that brush freely.